So here we are, into the first hall. RAF Hendon was a RAF airfield for many years. Very little left of it now. Here's a model of a Typhoon jet made up of all the tools symbolising all the different skills available within the RAF. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't really get this sort of exhibition here. It just seems to be a mismatch of stuff. I'm sure there's some logic to it, but it just seems like stuff lobbed in a hangar. I hope I'm wrong, but when I came in, I did think this was the hall that used to be the Battle of Britain Hall. And it had quite a good display, if not a little tired and hadn't changed for many years. Display of the Battle of Britain airplanes, British planes, German planes. And it's been replaced with this, which I'm a bit disappointed with. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're displayed elsewhere. A couple old lifeboats. We've been sitting out here for years and years and years. So I think this might be called the Brown White building. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's actually been relocated from elsewhere close by. It's actually one part of the museum they've done really well. Well, I haven't been in there for a few years. Might be Barney in there for all I know. Here we go. Let's go and see what we can find. I think I might go and start down at the other end. Here's an exhibit showing how the synchronisations worked in a machine gun, so you didn't shoot your own propeller. This is an Avro 504K. They were introduced in 1913. However, this one is a composite of various aeroplanes. So this is a mock-up of the office of Broad Brown White, manufacturer of airplanes. And as I said on the way in, I believe this building has been moved from elsewhere. Blériot from 1911. So this part of the museum is dedicated to aircraft from the First World War. Done a very good job in here. probably the best part of the museum. This is a Caudron G3, French training aircraft used by the RAF. As you can see, there's not an awful lot there to protect you. Not sure I'd like to be in that. A Royal Aircraft Factory, BE-2B. Unfortunately, it's a replica. Not too sure what I feel about replicas in museums. Right, this is a Sopwith Dolphin, made from composite parts. This is a genuine Royal Aircraft Factory FE-2B, dating from 1917. One of only two that exist in the world. Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5A, dating from the very end of the First World War. The best aircraft of the First World War. A Royal Aircraft Factory RE-8, which is a reconnaissance aircraft from 1916. And the difference in size of some of these planes is quite significant. Huge developments during the First World War. A Bristol F-2B. Bristol F-2B, fighter aircraft. Again, a composite aircraft. German Albatros D5A, dating from the end of the war. The Germans were very low on resources and to rely on the wooden construction. German Fokker D7. In front of us is a Sopwith Camel, and head to head with a Fokker D7. Dun, dun, dun. I did just pop into the canteen. I think it's fair to say the food is optimistically priced. The burgers are £14 and a bottle of Spitfire beer was £7.20. I think they're £1.49 in Tesco's. So that's quite a markup for having a beer with Spitfire in it. It's a nice beer, but it's not a £7.20 beer. I think last time I was here, this building was connected to the previous entrance, and I think there was some sort of polytunnel here. Anyway, let's go and have a look. This part of the museum represents the RAF from 1980 until today. It's one of the newer parts of the museum. I bet it's been open 20 years. Time flies. A Tornado, now withdrawn from British service. The Germans still fly them. I went to Duxford on the last day these flew. Standing there, ready for a picture. And I managed to knock the camera into manual focus. Completely missed them. One flyby. That was it. Just want to stand. Hawker Siddeley Buccaneer. It was introduced in 1969, and they were using the Gulf War as a target designation laser thingamajigs. This is the Harrier GR9. Harriers started in the 1960s. Unfortunately, they were withdrawn from service. Looks like 2010, looking at the tail of the plane. I don't remember it being that long ago. I'm getting old. Time flies. And a Jaguar up there. An Anglo-French collaboration. I remember when they were introduced, must have been late 60s maybe. I remember they had them hanging from the ceiling at the Earls Court. I can't for the life of me remember what the name of the thing used to be at Earls Court every year. The Royal Tournament. Get there in the end. Here's the Eurofighter, the Typhoon. I think these have been out for about 20 years or something now. Well, it turns out more than 20 years. They were introduced in 2003, although this is the second prototype and dates from 1993. Now 31 years. Right, we just left that bit, and now walking over to what was the original part of the museum. Last time I was here, which I would have said 2 years ago, it's probably more like 6 years ago. I was looking a bit tired, so hopefully they've done a bit of revamping in here. So here we go. And let's see what we can see in here. Hoping these are the right doors. Otherwise I'm going to bash my nose. Open the sesame. Oh, we've got a Bristol Beaufighter. What have we got over here? A Bristol Beaufort. A Lockheed Hudson. Similarly saw service from the beginning of the war all the way up until 1946. It was a maritime reconnaissance aircraft. And not an entirely different vintage, we have the Supermarine who made the Spitfire. We have their Stranraer flying boat, which actually came out in 1935. It was a marine reconnaissance aircraft, similar to the Lockheed we just saw. This the last biplanes. Similar eras. It all seems a bit of work in progress. We've still got bits of tape and where planes were before. Doesn't seem to be any context for some of these things. They just seem to be put there. Oh well. It's quite an interesting helicopter. Forerunner to Chinooks, things we saw later. Westland Belvedere. Thunderbolt next to the Curtis Keyhawk. No context whatsoever. We're just here. So we seem to have found some of the aircraft from what was the Battle of Britain exhibit. Just Proximus hangar, really. Anyway. So we have a Mark I Hurricane, a genuine example that flew in the Battle of Britain. Next to that, we have a Mark I Spitfire. This is also a genuine example of one that flew in the Battle of Britain. Messerschmitt 109E, this particular example, crash landed in 1940. They quite possibly flew in the Battle of Britain. Most of the Messerschmitt 109s we see flying at air shows today aren't in fact Messerschmitt 109s. They're Spanish-built Hispano-Buchons with Rolls-Royce engines. Very, very few genuine Messerschmitts still flying. And this is what the Italians sent over for the Battle of Britain. The Fiat CR42, the last fighter biplane single-seater produced. I don't think they did very well. Perhaps one of the noisier planes, the English Electric Lightning. None flying over here anymore. Saw them a long time ago. I think they're just too expensive to maintain. I think there's some inherent problems with the engines that make them a tad unsafe. There were some, and may still be, flying in South Africa. I know at least one of those crashed. There's one of these that crashed at Shoreham with rather tragic results. Lost a Meteor. Hawker Tempest. Lancaster. There's something big in here. Fairy Vassal, a particularly useless aircraft. And behind it, V-17, which is not a useless aircraft. A Mustang. And again, we just see that's odds and sods thrown together, if you can call the Vulcan an odds or sod. Messerschmitt 163. Doesn't look right at a place like this. A Messerschmitt BF 110G night fighter variant, as you can tell by these this aerial array on the front. This particular version was surrendered at the end of the war. This is the remains of a Handley Page Halifax, the other 4-engine bomber used during the Second World War, overshadowed by the Lancaster, but probably equally as good. This particular version took part on the attack on the Tirpitz, but was hit by artillery fire and was landed onto ice in the Norwegian fjord, where it sunk, and it was recovered 30 odd years later. It now lives here. Painful HE 111. Junkers 87, a Stuka dive bomber. So we have a little section depicting some of the planes from the war in the Pacific. We have the B-24 Liberator here, and Scotch driver unceremoniously under its wing. We have a Kawasaki fighter from the end of the Second World War, a Kawasaki KI-100. It's a very good plane apparently. It was only introduced right at the very end of the war. It didn't even have time to be given a nickname. A Mitsubishi KI-46 Dyna, a reconnaissance plane. It's quite an interesting plane. It's so crowded in, you can't see it. These are Japanese piloted flying bomb. So part of kamikaze. Don't think I want to be on one of them. And finally, so I think we've pretty much done everything now, we end up with a couple of the big jets. It's the Phantom F4. They remained in service with the RAF until 1992. And moving over to the Tornado. They finished service a few years back. And this particular variant, the F3, finished in 2010. So, I think that's about it. Took about 3 hours, I suppose. It's not a bad museum, it's just a bit unloved. And I don't like the way that a lot of the stuff is totally without context. It's just dumped with a sign. But there you go. And the Battle of Britain Hall used to be pretty good, but it hadn't changed for 40 years perhaps. It did need a revamp. But they certainly threw the baby out with the bathwater there. Oh well, maybe I'm just getting old.